All right, so it is showtime,
Yay!
and I don't really see anybody around, but they'll probably trickle in. I
I'm
am
sure.
Vina, aka Miss WC Reader, and this is my lovely co-host Alicia from Birdie and the Books.
Thank you for asking me to do this. I have so much I have to get done today.
Yes, same. I have so much I have to get done. Like I woke up early-ish because I had to have like a job interview over the phone, so I didn't want to be all groggy.
Yeah, you wanted to make sure your voice didn't sound like you just rolled out of bed.
Yeah. So I did the interview. I'm like crossing my fingers because it's a job that pays well. So like I'm
Fingers and toes.
hoping I'll know like by the end of the week if anything happens with it. Like I did that and I had a job interview in person yesterday. So
Yay!
I'm starting to get interviews. The one yesterday, like a friend works there, so that has that going for it, but I'm not sure if like I like the environment as much.
Yeah.
It's like a very cold, lonely warehouse, and like
Oh
there's an
goodness.
office in the warehouse. There's an office like it's an office in the warehouse, and it's a little bit like further out in the cut. So it's not like it's on like it's off a main highway, but there's nothing like walking distance
Same.
nearby.
I had an interview like a month ago, and it was like it. It was a building, and there was nothing around it. I'm like, am I gonna like? Is this like a horror movie, and I'm just gonna get like attacked or something?
Yeah, like across the street is like a dealership, and then there's like a little diner further down, but you're not gonna have time to like run back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had that. The one I had today, it was like just a phone interview. So like by the end of the week, they'll tell me if I moved into the in-person interview, and that one pays more. The one that I had today pays more than the one that I had yesterday. So I'm kind of hoping I lean more towards the one that pays more.
Fingers
I don't
crossed
like,
and all
you know,
positive vibes sent your way.
yeah, they give you like the range of how much you're going to get paid.
Yeah.
And the range that they gave for the one that I went to yesterday, like I feel like they're going to lean on the lower end of the pay. And if they
Yeah.
lean towards the lower end, I can't take it
Yeah,
because I
that's the
need a
problem.
livable
Some of
wage.
these jobs I'm getting like sent and stuff. I'm like, it wouldn't even be worth me going because I'd be giving my money to my mom to take me to work in gas. Like the
Yeah,
one job like $10 an hour. I'm like, no.
yeah, that's not even remotely anything. Like the one of the ones that yesterday was like on the lower range of like the lowest number was $19, and I'm like even that for me as a single person who is trying to move out
So
and
low.
live in get their own space within like the next year, hopefully.
Yeah.
I cannot take that.
It's so like I hate to say it, but like it's cheaper for me to stay home and keep on looking for some of these jobs. Like some of the
Yeah.
one office job was offering me $8.50 an hour. I'm like, where? How? Like I would literally be giving my mom my paycheck to take me back and forth to work at that point.
It's basically almost volunteer work at that point.
Mm-hmm. And you want me to work 40 hours? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where?
And that's what I'm
I
saying
mean,
too.
if I could live off of that, I wouldn't mind. If that was livable, if that was still a livable wage, I'd be fine. That's not anymore.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, if I'm going to take a lower wage, then I might as well just go work part time
Right.
and
And then you
keep.
don't get insurance and all that mess.
Yeah, that's the only thing that you don't get insurance. Because I'm like, if I'm going to take a lower wage, I might as well work part time and keep looking in the meantime.
Right, exactly. That's why like I think I told you yesterday I'm going for all these freelancing just to get something. Maybe that'll lead to a full time
Yeah.
because all the jobs around here are like $8, $9 an hour. I'm like, and no offense to anybody who works at these places, when I know the guy at the Panda Express, which I can't physically do, gets paid 19. I'm like, but please make it make sense. But you want me to work in an office for $9?
Thank you. Yeah, I am hoping and praying. Like,
Fingers, and my toes. You can't see my toes, but they're crossed.
and like my goal was to like try and find something by April. So like at least I'm on track where I'm starting now to get.
You're getting there, yeah.
And I do have my vacation next month, so then like I have to factor that in as well. Like,
Yeah.
because I'm about to put the final payment down for that. It's mostly already
As
paid.
long as you tell them beforehand, they're usually cool with it.
Yeah, and I know like once I offer them, I'll have to tell them like,
Yeah.
well, I have this vacation coming up that I have to take. It's non-refundable.
Yeah, same here. I just put the payment down for the hotel for a long weekend that Greg and I are taking in the middle
Yeah.
of April.
Yeah, and then, like, that's the thing too on the job hunt, you don't wanna plan too much stuff because you never know.
Right, and that's the
Like,
hard
I was
part.
gonna come visit you, but then I'm like, "I don't know what's going on
The
with
spare
my
bedroom's always open for you,
yeah,
so you can just come and I'll be like,
yeah."
okay,
I'm like, "'Cause now I'm getting in-person interviews, so, like,
right. Yeah.
I kinda have to be here." So, yeah, that's where I am right now. Job hunt is picking up a little bit, so if the job hunt picks up a little bit, I'll have a lot less time to do work, so I'm
Yeah.
trying to get things done this week. So, we're gonna actually jump into a 30-minute sprint
Sounds
because
perfect.
I have to film the rest of my wrap up, hence the makeup, and
Wrap up.
then, I was doing a little bit of work earlier, so I was, like, working on a blog post, I finished it, I scheduled it. I
Yay!
need to put together another post because I want something to go up tomorrow, and I have everything together, I just need to actually put it online.
It's just putting it physically there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and start the timer, and I will see you guys in 30. All right. So I see some people came in. So Rem said, hello, I'm here. Hello,
Hi,
Aria.
that's Liz from the Who Picked This Book Club. She's part of the book club. Hi,
Hey, amen. Good morning. For the sprints, I need some focused reading time. Glad you're getting some focused reading time. So I actually am almost done with my wrap up. I had one more book that I need to add, and then my battery died, so I had to switch out the battery.
Oh
and
no!
Clock. I'm like, I have 5 minutes before the timer stops. I'm not gonna get that in. That clock ticking scared me. I was like, what in the world is happening?
Excuse me.
Yeah, like those random sounds on these timers sometimes can be a little scary. All right, I guess I'm on anywhere. That's fine. Got a lot done with work, finishing up lunch, having ramen. Oh, I'm glad you're at work getting stuff done and you're enjoying your ramen. We made so much food for Easter that I just have Easter leftovers for the rest of the week because my mom went.
That's what I'm doing.
My mom went overboard with the cooking. Like, I'm like, Mom, we said a little brunch and you cooked like for a nation.
Everything?
She did. She like went overboard and started cooking all her favorite foods. So we have so much rice left, so much food left. She bought a big thing of croissants from the store. Like she's like, well, I bought the big ones because they were the same price as the small ones. I'm like, no, I wanted the small ones and I didn't want that many. Because we had like croissants, we had yellow cake, we had chocolate covered marshmallows, we had
so much
eggs, bacon, ham.
That sounds amazing.
Saltfish, bake.
Ooh, I haven't had saltfish in forever.
Like so many different things. Yeah. So our table was like packed full of food. Oh, we had 2 different kinds of quiches too. Because I had a smoked salmon quiche and I had a mushroom quiche. And so the one was like mushroom and mozzarella cheese.
Yum.
And then the other was smoked salmon and like a Gruyere cheddar mix.
Oh, yum.
Yeah,
You're speaking my language.
Yeah, we had a ton of food. Oh, and a big fruit tray. She made a huge fruit tray with like all the mixed fruit, the cantaloupe, honeydew, watermelon, oranges, strawberries, grapes, etc.
That was like when we went to my mom's. She was like, bake, Greg's, my boyfriend's parents have this chocolate chip pie recipe. It's kind of like a big chocolate chip cookie. It's delicious. So we made 2 of them because everybody loves it. And then people showed up, like 4 different people showed up with different desserts. So we had like a table of just desserts. I'm like, where's the food? Everyone, like, there was literally a table of desserts. I was like, what are we gonna do with all this?
Yeah, when you have too much stuff.
Yeah, I'm just like, they're gonna put it all on me and I don't have room in my fridge.
Yeah, so like I had to put some of the leftover ham in the freezer.
Same.
Just so that we can have it for a different day because there was just so much and we couldn't get people to really take stuff home. Like, take stuff home.
It was crazy. My mom made mac and cheese. Like, I was like, I didn't know you were making your homemade mac and cheese. Like, I just walked in and it wasn't the normal that we normally eat. And I was just like, hey, mac and cheese? I'm complaining, I'm just pissed.
Yeah. So there was so much stuff.
I was like in a food coma for like a day.
Where
are you, Liz? Because I just finished it. I literally just finished it.
Yeah, that one's a pretty popular one.
It's so good. I read it so fast. I was like just turning the pages so fast.
I spent that first sprint doing laundry. Our new dryer came yesterday, so playing catch up.
Yay!
Well, at least you got a nice dryer that works now.
That's always I feel like that's the adulting meter, is when you're excited because you get new appliances.
Yeah. We did laundry yesterday, so luckily I got that taken care of.
Yeah.
Listening to The Partner Plot by Christina Forrest. I have that one. I probably won't get to it for a while, though, because I feel like her stories are kind of the same.
Christina Forrest. Why does that name sound familiar?
She writes YA and adult romance.
Okay.
So that one is one of her adult romances. But like I said, I feel like all her characters are very, very similar. Not like they're not following like the exact same storyline like an Allie Hazelwood, but like they all have like the same type of personality.
Like A plus B, slot in C, that kind of thing.
Like all the guys are soft and the girls are like a little stronger, and yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I have a book I need to finish, but I'll probably listen to a little bit of it after I finish doing this wrap up, and then I'll start my writing.
That's this one for me. I've been reading this for 2 months.
Because I've been reading Warrior of the Wind. I was trying to finish it before the end of March, and I realized I'm not going to just because it's such a thick book. And I'm a little bit over halfway through, so technically, if I put my mind to it, I could stay up late and finish it.
That's the sequel to Son of the Storm. I got the first one. I didn't get the sequel yet because I wanted to read the first one first.
Yeah, so like it's good. It's good. There's just a lot to follow because he utilizes so many different POVs. Yeah. And like I said,
that's why I struggled when I just got the audiobook through my library. Like I was like, wait, I need a book.
Yeah, he uses a lot of POVs, and like I am familiar with the story. So like I was listening to part of it on Easter while I was cooking, and my sister's like, "How are you following all this? Because I feel like this book is just now starting to make sense." Because she's like hearing me listen to it, and I feel like the book is just now starting to make sense. I'm like, well, it's a sequel. She's like, oh, that explains it. She's like, but still, that's so many POVs. Like I was getting lost.
Is it supposed to be a trilogy?
Yes.
Or is there going to be more? Okay.
It's a trilogy. So, but it's like I said, it's following so many different people because it's following like you have like your main cast, and then there's some side people who are in the mix who it's also following.
I'm hoping to get this done this week because I've been reading it for 2 months. I'm loving it. I'm just reading it very slow.
Okay, so far I don't like second chance romance. Second chance romance can be hit and miss. It just like depends.
I trust certain authors with it.
Yeah. Certain authors do it really well. Certain authors do it very paint by the number. That's the thing with romance. Like when you find your good one, it is amazing.
But it's so hard to find like because you like this is where I recommend you going.
Yeah. I don't really like pick up the books romance for the tropes. Like I don't understand how people do that because I'm like one person may write it well, but somebody else doesn't. So like the general premise kind of sound interesting. Like maybe they have some different jobs. Maybe it's set in a cool place. But like just picking it up because it's like second chance romance or enemies to lovers or something, I cannot do.
Yeah, I'm the same with like I know a lot of people say this, but that surprise baby trope, I'm like, ugh.
Oh yeah. People are like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, I can tolerate it sometimes if I know going in. And I think the only person who really did it well that I liked was there was one book I read with Reese Ryan where going in like they're gonna have the babies and it's on the cover.
I know what one you're talking about. Yep.
That one was done very well.
Yeah. He's one of the authors that I trust. Her and Julianne Lindsay, right? Really.
Yeah. And plus, like with the surprise baby, sometimes it feels like they're literally only together for the baby.
Yeah.
And I hate that. Like when the baby is driving the whole entire romance.
And the baby half the time isn't even born yet. And I'm like,
yeah, and it's usually like the one night stand. Like we were supposed to go our separate ways. Then she got pregnant.
I read one of those books for book club, and I love the author because she seems like a lovely person, but her books just don't work for me. Like I follow her on social media and I love her to death, but like her books don't work for me.
Yeah. So, and then I hate this the secret one where like the kid is like 10 plus, and
here's your kid that you had 10 years ago that you didn't know about. I hate it.
Like, very, very, very few people have done that well for me because, like, the guy's never allowed to be mad. I'm like,
Right.
why is it
Why
a
are
bad
you
thing?
mad at me?
The
You had
one
my
book I
kid for
read where
10
he
years?
got mad when he found out, they were like, "Actually, that was an issue, like, he was experiencing CTE, like, from playing football," and I'm like, "Really?"
And there was one that really bothered me. It was a medical romance, and the boy had spina bifida, and the guy didn't know it was his kid. So, like, she wanted them to be friends before she told him it was his kid. I was like, no,
No.
absolutely not. Like, it was a Harlequin medical romance, and it made me so mad.
I I think I read, like, one Harlequin medical romance, I think from Anne McIntosh, maybe? I think she writes so many of them.
Yeah.
But I have one that I bought recently.
I have the Denise, I think it's Denise and Wheatley wrote one.
Yeah, she wrote one,
Yeah,
I have that
I
one.
picked that one up.
So I am curious to see how that one reads, but I usually don't read Harlequin medical romance.
I can't I can't do it because as someone who was in and out of hospitals most of their lives, the hospital isn't sexy to me. Like, you
Yeah,
can't,
no,
it's
no,
just
I
no.
feel you, like, I've been way too much of the past 10 years, like,
Right.
at the hospital to the point
Doesn't
where I
do
was,
it.
like, traumatized even walking to through the hospital doors. Like,
There's certain
I would,
hospitals I
like
can't go into
yes,
because
I
of
hate
certain
going to
stuff.
the hospital, so I
Yeah.
cannot watch the
I
hospital
can't
and
do
think
it.
it's sexy by any means either.
Mm-mm.
So this is gonna be very interesting to see how she does this. I don't even watch Grey's Anatomy.
No, I used to, and then like season 5 got ridiculous, and I was like, no, I'm out.
And then, like, I know so many people in my family who work at the hospital too.
Yeah, my dad's wife is a nurse, and I can't. She, she watches medical stuff, and she goes, "That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen." I'm like, yeah.
99% of the time I hate her. Only one I like it's a billionaire.
Billionaire
Yeah,
romances are hard for me. So again, certain authors, and that's it.
yeah, I feel like a lot of times in the billionaire romance, they don't write the billionaire like a billionaire. I'm like, "Spend money. Be ostentatious." And then the
Like,
girl's always meek and she's like, "Oh, I don't want him to spend too much on me." I do.
hey,
Why
can
are
you
y'all
pay off the
eating
rest of my
burgers
student
at the
loans,
local
please?
diner? Buy some sushi and lobster.
Can you please pay off my student loans, sir?
Yeah. I hate when they do that. I hate the books get really weird about virginity too.
I read a Harlequin that and this is no shade. This is no shade to someone who is still a virgin, but she waited for this guy, and she was like 33. I'm like,
Yeah, I started reading one like that and I think I put it down.
it happens, but
I'm
not
not
as much
saying
as
like
books
I
make
just
it out.
don't feel like it needs to be the main storyline.
Right.
Like, okay,
That's
she
okay
did
if
it.
it's just a
I
side
don't
plot.
care
I
if
don't
she did
care.
it. I don't care that she did it. I don't care that she waited. Like, it does not need to be the whole thing of the
And what
book.
is wrong with people dating other people before they meet the person? Because that's
Yeah.
more realistic.
I'm like,
Like,
okay, so she waited and she lost her virginity later in life. Why is it such a big thing that he's taking her virginity? And
why
like
was
he's so
that always
happy
a
that
thing?
and it's
And
always like he's so happy he was the only person inside her and all this crap.
I can't imagine anybody else touching her. Like, shut up. Like, come on, like, shut up. I can't. It makes me so
Yeah,
mad.
I hate when they fault the man, like when the man's not allowed to get mad in the surprise baby because how dare he? Oh, and it jumped and it reordered the comments.
Bree!
Look, let me say
Hi!
hello to Bree. Hey Bree. Just
Hi!
talking through. Sorry, it like I legitimately did see her comment next and then it jumped and rearranged the comment.
It jumps up, and then it like sometimes will bring in comments in like the wrong order.
Yeah, like it was down here and then I saw it jumped up there because I was going to get to it next. Oh my gosh. And then I lost the one I was just going to click. You can tell these authors in rituals are not quiet with luxury at all just because normal don't know the brands. Exactly. And I'm like, they're not quiet about like flossing their money. Like, I mean, like they don't have to be like show like super showy, but like they go to nice places and eat nice food and wear nice clothes.
Yeah. The one I really liked,
Exactly. They're
it
gonna
was a,
take nice trips and buy nice
exactly.
cars.
I'll go hang out on a yacht, please.
Yes.
You don't have to ask me twice. Shit. I'll go lay on a yacht.
Yeah.
Just give me a drink with an umbrella in it. I'm a happy camper. I don't need much.
Same, like, I'm like, it's a billionaire romance. Let him take you to a nice vacation outside the country. I'll go lay up on some island on a like.
Go have like a week where you're just in a boat by yourself. That's awesome.
Yeah. Although I read one where like he basically tricked her to go being on the boat, and I didn't like that part.
The other thing I don't like about a lot of
I
billionaire
think that was
romances.
a Harlequin one too,
Yeah.
actually, where I read it and he kind of tricks her into getting on this boat and going on this trip for a week.
The other part and it's not just Harlequin that does this. I see this in a lot of romances. When the guy messes with her birth control. And
That's
she's
a
totally
whole
fine with it. I'm like, no.
That's a whole thing in dark romance that
I
the
don't like
TikTok
it.
girlies love, and I'm just like, I don't really
No.
don't understand why we're romanticizing this. Like, there's a whole thing about romanticizing
Problematic
forced
as hell.
pregnancy. And they're really adamant. They're like, he messed up her birth control. He gave her fertility shots behind her back.
Or he put sugar pills in instead of the actual pills.
I'm like, this is sociopathic behavior. None of this is romantic.
That's running the opposite direction.
Like, this should be a horror story, but that they're calling it dark romance and they're hyping it up.
It's so creepy. I can't do it. And I've seen it actually in books that aren't dark romances, and I'm like, no.
And I feel like since Trad is picking up so many of the dark romances and republishing them, they're definitely going to be on the shelf next.
That and have you seen that they're picking up a bunch of stuff from like AO3 and
yeah, they're picking up that. They're also some of these storylines too are straight up out of porn, and it's like nobody wants to acknowledge that these are porn storylines. And they don't want to acknowledge these are porn storylines because they don't want to say, "Oh, well, you're writing porn." But I'm like, "You're writing porn. Own it." Like, I used to read literotica years ago. Now I think it's unreadable, but years ago I used to read.
I'm picky with my erotica. I read it now.
Yeah, but that people, I feel like people are taking one step further and they're just straight up taking their storylines from porn. And I'm like, so it's terrible when men write this stuff, but when women write it, it's okay.
I'm not trying to get your bag, but I get so irritated when authors that I love that are independently published and they edit their romances so much to be trad published that it's just not fun to read their romances anymore. If that makes any sense. I stopped reading one author because I liked her independently published stuff because she went balls to the wall, for lack of a better term. And it was purposely that way. And you had a good time with it.
Yeah.
And they were short. And now they're almost 500 pages. I'm like, no.
Yeah. And I do like some indie stuff or sexier stuff. I read books by AJ Locke. And of course, her indie stuff is more erotica. And she promotes it like erotica. And then her trad stuff is urban fantasy.
Yeah.
You'll get a few spicy scenes in there, but it's not like she goes straight up fantasy erotica in her stuff. So you're getting lots of sex scenes. Some of them are over the top and crazy depending on the book.
And only certain authors can write that and make it still make sense.
So she just had one come out and it's supposed to be a throuple and there's supposed to be an incubus, and I am really excited about reading that one.
You said incubus and throuple. I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah, that's the type of stuff you can't really get away with in trad. Yeah, there's a difference between erotica and porn retelling. That whole I see it's really coming really popular right now, that whole storyline where the girl just newly turned 18, and like
Sure.
the dad's best friend is like waiting to hook up with her.
And he's like 45. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, that's actually a very popular porn storyline.
That's a very popular trope in romances in general.
And now they're turning it into like this big like trope in romance, and I'm like, that's
Mhm.
gross. Like
I'm not even a fan of like
it's
I fall in
basically,
love with the best friend's brother.
yeah. I'm like, it's basically barely legal teen porn.
Maybe
Like
that's just because I'm
in
older now. I
writing
can't read
and
that
written
stuff.
form. And in written
I
form, I
can't.
never could read that. And I'm like, no, like you want me to believe that this girl was not groomed into wanting the pseudo uncle.
He's
Like
known
the
her
one
since
book
he was
literally
7.
said in the synopsis, pseudo uncle.
Mm-hmm. No. And I can't, and that's the other issue with the author that I read in book club, that she writes really good stories. I just, like, I don't care about 21-year-olds anymore. Maybe that's just because I'm an older lady. I don't know. I'm like, I don't care.
Also, like they don't write these 21-year-olds with any type of maturity
Mm-mm.
whatsoever, like no
They sound like
independence,
12-year-olds.
even though most of them are going to be graduating and going to live independently. And also, like if you didn't go to college, you kind of have to be a little bit more independent.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
college gives you that buffer to act a little more childish.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas most people I know who are 21, they were working full time.
My brother was. He
And
didn't go to school till a little bit later. And it was to continue what he was already doing. It was just to get more like certifications.
exactly. So like if you're writing these 21-year-olds and they read like 16-year-olds.
And that's the biggest problem. And this is just a general problem that I have in general, is when they make them, they make it sound like they're so smart, and yet they're too dumb to survive anything.
Yeah.
And I can't. I'm just like, don't tell me they're smart if they're gonna act really stupid.
Yeah, and that's the problem I'm having with like these new adult type fantasy stories that people are writing. Because I'm like, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
everybody in fantasy is usually young. Like the characters who are in their 30s are few and far between. So
I
like it's
feel like
extra
sort of
jarring
Kagan.
to go from like a well-written fantasy where everybody's
Mm-hmm.
like 16, 17, and then they're moving like they actually live in a world where they've
Yeah.
grown up with hardship, and then you go into one of these new adultish ones where they're supposed to be like 21 and they act like giggling schoolgirls.
Yeah, that's why I like Sword of Kaigen. It was a longer fantasy, but it was a standalone, and it was a mother trying to get her kid back, and she was like 45. I was like, yes, thank you.
I'm like, you cannot be in this fantasy world where there's war and like you've been living on your own for your, pretty much your whole life, taking care of yourself, and then I'm supposed to believe that this main character easily makes these stupid decisions of trusting anybody and everybody who comes across their path.
Right. And the other thing that irritates me is like, I don't know if you would call it second chance romance, but it's like, I really
Yes,
like,
no street smarts.
yeah, and it's just like people that are like getting their partner dies or something happens where they lose their partner, and then they like don't even talk about the other partner. It's just a fact. Like they were married before. Oh, but you're my soulmate. And I'm like, so you're telling me the 20 years you were married to that person were bullshit? Like,
That is
okay,
very weird. I don't know. I just feel like people aren't just like putting enough thought into some of the stuff that
I
they're writing.
really liked a Harlequin that I read by LaQuette. What was it called? It was a Christmas romance. It was part of her. What is that series called? Oh my goodness, I'm blanking.
I don't read LaQuette, so I don't know which one it was.
Um, hold on. But it was he had a wife, and like because he fell in love again. It wasn't, they openly talked about it because he had a daughter from the previous relationship. It wasn't hidden. It wasn't, oh my God, you're my person now. Like they they gave them proper respect for being with a partner for 20 years.
Yeah, I do like when they have, like, children from previous relationships and they actually, like, acknowledge that
Yeah.
and make sure the kids are comfortable with their new partner, because that's what you should be doing as a parent.
And the kid sounds like a kid, not a
Yeah,
secretly 25-year-old.
because I've also read the books where, like, the person had a child and then they, like, introduced their child to them, like, in the last chapter of the book.
Yeah. Or like way too soon, like they just had
My
sex for the first
soulmate.
time and, oh,
Yeah.
I want you to meet someone new. And I'm just like, no.
Yeah, I'm like, you kind of, like, should be thinking as a parent, like, at least well, as a good parent, in the back of your
Yeah,
mind, you should be thinking about how your child is going to react to this new person and then move accordingly.
exactly.
So let's get into another sprint. I'm going to set the timer for 30 minutes
Sounds good.
and see you guys in 30.
Happy reading or happy productivity.
All right. How did everybody do that round? Let me know how you did in the comments.
I got half of a chapter done. These next 2 chapters are over an hour on audio, so they're long ones.
So I finished my wrap up, so that was good. So now it's just to edit that. So that's I'm gonna be editing tonight, so hopefully I can get that up tomorrow.
Yeah.
If not tomorrow, then I'll get it up. I'll get it up on Thursday.
That's not bad.
Yeah. And I started writing. I have to see where, like, I got some words and I just have to count them. I have too many tabs open, so
I always have that problem.
That's good that you made a little bit of progress. What book are you reading again?
The Dragonbone Chair by Tad Williams.
So that's a fantasy, I'm gonna assume.
It's old. It's an older fantasy. It came out in 1988.
Oh, it's an older one.
Yeah.
How long is it?
It depends on the edition you have, but my copy is 930 pages.
That is a lot. I don't think I've ever seen a book. I've ever read a book that long.
Yeah, this was long. And then book 2, 600 pages. And then book 3 is so big that they I can only find this in the UK because it's not printed in the US anymore. So I had to order through Blackwell's. I don't normally order through Blackwell's, but I can't find it anywhere else. Book 3 was so big that it's split into 2 books. It's like 1,200 pages.
I can see why they split it.
Yeah. No binding would have held that at all.
No, and that's a weapon.
Yeah. If someone comes in my house, I could just go.
Yeah.
But I did get book mail during that sprint, which made me very happy. It's my most anticipated book of the year. The Angel of Indian Lake by Stephen Graham Jones. And it's signed.
2 chapters. Oh, and it's signed.
Yeah. I ordered from his local bookstore, the Boulder Bookshop. And he signs them there. And it was cheaper to buy it through the local bookstore than Amazon. Which is
sometimes it works out. It works out well, and you got yourself a signed copy.
Yeah, he's as everybody who knows me knows, he's one of my favorites. So if I can get a signed copy, I try to.
Definitely. I have to check and see if the mail came today. The mail's been coming like later and later.
Same. That's why I was so shocked that this showed up now.
Like on a good day, the mail comes like between 1 and 3 o'clock.
Same.
But most of the time lately, the mail has been coming after 6.
Sometimes after 7. Like it's already the sun's already set when my mailman shows up. Sometimes
when they have the little light on their head.
Yep.
All because
it's so weird. Like how is it
General
one
does
day
not
it's like they drop it off so early, and the next day they drop it off like
I think it's because they're behind.
The last possible stop.
Like I know the Postmaster General that they have is horrible.
Yeah.
And doesn't want to pay them. That was like a problem we had in the bank, because we would do bill pay for customers where you go on and sign up and the bank mails your check for you.
Yeah.
People would be like, "Where's my check?" And I'm like, "Well, you need to start scheduling your checks a little bit earlier because they're going out 4 days in advance, but because the mail is behind, because and I'm like, I would tell people, they're like, "What do you mean the mail is slow?" I'm like, they issued something it's in the news. They issued a notice that the mail was going to be delayed starting this month.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like I'm sending something snail mail to Canada and it's not getting here till
at certain points of the year.
It's nuts. Like I sent something snail mail to Canada because my friend wouldn't let me send it any faster. And it was still over $31 in shipping. And it's not getting there for like a month.
Yeah, sending outside the country is expensive too.
Like it's more than the book I'm sending.
Yeah, like I remember a couple of years ago sending a bunch of books to the Caribbean that were free for me. Like I didn't pay anything for them. They were books, all of them I got from publishers, but I basically paid the face value of the books
Right.
in shipping to
Yeah,
send
like
them.
the copy of the book I got him was $23, and then shipping was 31 to ship to Canada.
Yeah, and then like you
But
ship,
why?
and it takes like so long for them to get it. It has to clear customs for them.
Yes,
Hopefully, they don't have to pay anything on their end for it.
his birthday is the same day as mine, so I sent him a gift for his birthday, and it's not going to get there till like May 1st. I'm like, but okay.
It's just slow because the mail is slow in general now.
Yeah,
Like
it's
at this
gotten
point, like
ridiculous.
the mail has like since the pandemic and they got the new postmaster general, the mail has just been slower, and then it
Yeah.
gets even slower. Like he'll announce at specific points of the year that it's going to be slower. Like around the
Mm-hmm.
holidays, they'll slow it down
Same.
even more. Like I am happy when I send something via media mail and they get it in like 2 days.
Yeah, I
It's always
was.
a shock.
Yeah, for some reason, from where you are to here, it only takes like 2-3 days, and
Yeah.
then like, but then if I ship something to my dad's house in New Jersey, it takes forever.
Yeah. And it also depends on
And
like
you
if
don't
I
live
guess if
far
you have
from
a
where my
big
dad lives.
facility.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I guess it all depends too on if you have a big facility near you, because we have a big, like, we have one of the big facilities near us that sorts
Mm-hmm.
mail.
It's just nuts to me. The one day that they like quoted me, I was sending something to you. They're like, "It'll be there in 5 days." Okay. Like 2 days later, you messaged me that you got it. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, and like my cousin, she works for the post office, but she doesn't work like in the office. She works like in this mail distribution center.
Yeah, the big one.
Yeah, so she works in the big one, but they don't do a lot of mail for around here. They do mail for like other parts of the state.
It's crazy.
It's always funny, but I'm like I go to the mail. I go send mail like maybe like every other month. I'm out
Yeah.
sending book mail, so I didn't send any last month, so I have to go soon.
Well, June will be the next time I really have to send stuff out because it's my little sister's birthday in
Yeah,
June.
I try to send it all at once because then I don't like driving to the post office here because I either drive to the one on the opposite side of town, or like if I want to go to the one downtown, like by the time you
Yeah.
already find parking, like just walk.
It's just like it makes no sense to me.
So I'll like
I don't
walk
know
and
if
make
it's
it.
I don't know if it's near you, but like my mail people get like an hour and a half lunch. Like their office is closed until like almost 2 o'clock. So like if you're trying to get it while you're on your lunch break, you're screwed.
Oh no, they have the one downtown. I think it's just slightly too busy for that. Like it's not
Yeah,
booming, but like it
it's
comes like
like
it
not.
picks up at certain times. So like they have two people usually working there. So one's at lunch while the other is taking care of everything.
It's crazy.
But
It's
for
so
a while
annoying.
there, they did not have the supplies to
Yeah,
mail stuff like the labels and the envelopes and stuff. They brought them back, thankfully. Because I try to buy the stuff in advance, but then sometimes buying the stuff in advance now is starting to get expensive too. Like to buy the
yeah.
envelope is just as much almost to send the media mail.
That's why I don't even. This is gonna sound bad, but my best friend was sent a gift card by his mom for his birthday. And someone took the gift card out of the card and sent the card. Like someone in the mail
Mhm.
took it out. So because I sent a gift card to my dad for his birthday, I sent it in the card in a bubble mailer so people wouldn't open
Yeah.
it and take it out. Like it's insane. I just sent my dad a card and a gift card, and I have to worry that much about someone taking it. Like this is stupid.
Yeah, you kind of have to do that now.
Yeah, they took his my friend's gift card to finish getting his tattoo that he got from his mom and sent the card to his house. So he still got the card, but not the gift card. I was like, what is going on? I don't understand.
Yeah.
It
I've
drives me
been
nuts.
I usually just like stack up all the mail that I'm going to send out at once, unless it's something really important. Like the letters
Yeah,
and stuff, I can just throw in the mailbox. But if it's
right.
something I know I have to go into the post office for, I'm like stacking them up and seeing if I can do
I do
everybody's
the
at
same
once.
thing. If I'm sending stuff to my whole family that lives with my dad, I just send it all on one box because I'm like, you all live together, so my dad can parse it out who what
Yeah.
belongs to which person.
For my one friend, sometimes like it just works out better if I just buy the books from Amazon
Yeah,
and send them
same.
directly to her house for her kids versus me trying to buy the
And
book
then
on sale,
shipping.
then shipping it myself.
Like I sent a big box with everybody's Christmas gifts in December. It was $80. It was like 40 last year. It doubled in a year. Send the
Yeah.
same amount of stuff. It's nuts.
Yeah, prices have gone up. Like I remember one month I was sending something to Puerto Rico and I was sending something here, and they worked out to the same price.
Yeah, it's nuts. I apologize if you can hear they're fixing up the apartment right next to mine, so you might hear
No,
some banging.
no, I can't hear anything. It's good. Like it was pouring rain here earlier, but now it seems like the rain is not as
Yeah,
bad.
it's supposed to rain here tonight, like pour tonight.
Yeah, it's supposed to rain all week. Yesterday it was raining, and then it stopped in like the late afternoon. So I ran quick to go to get my taxes because like my taxes were ready. And oh my gosh, that was a whole thing too. My sister paid more in her
I hate
taxes
taxes.
and got nothing, got like $23 back.
The
And her
one I got
taxes
$40. I was like, this is BS.
her taxes were like 200 to get done.
Yep.
Because we just do it with an accountant to make it easier. We're not messing it
Right.
up. They take care of all of it.
You end up in the hole.
Yeah, so I'd rather have somebody else do it than me try to do it myself on H&R
Right.
Block and mess it up and then wind up owing more money because they don't tell you right away that you owe money. They wait till it
No.
adds up and then get you.
Like my brother, I don't try to flaunt it, but my brother is good at what he does, makes a decent amount of money, and he did his taxes the other day and he gets back like $200 and he's like, huh? Like, how?
Yeah, my mom barely got anything back. I got a little bit more back than her, but still.
My boyfriend, he's gonna get like $100 and he works 2 jobs. I'm like, how is this possible? If he works 2 jobs, how is
Yeah.
this possible?
And then I still owed $66.
Yeah. I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah, I'm definitely not doing my taxes this year either. Be like the ones for this year between all this stuff I'm gonna have for unemployment.
Yeah.
No, and I
Hopefully.
already am having them take out the money aside for taxes, so that's gonna be a whole mess.
Yeah. It's a pain in the ass.
But I made sure to select the option for them to take the money out because I'm like I'm not playing around
You
with
don't want
that.
to deal with it. It's
Yeah,
easier.
and my cousin worked a job like in Philly years ago where like they weren't taking out the taxes
Oh,
for him,
geez.
so like he had to figure it out at the end of the year.
The one year my brother was like crying because he worked in Philly but lived in Jersey. So
Mhm.
like he was getting the Philly tax and the Jersey tax.
Yeah, it is not cheap.
It's nuts.
Yeah, like sometimes when you're trying to get books to people to be nice, like it's like, can I send you the money?
Right.
Then I just send it through Amazon because I'm just trying to save money. Like, and that's what I do. Like, I'm like, it works out just better for me sometimes to just buy 20, like, to, especially now I have Prime, so it really doesn't matter because I'm on my sister's Prime account since they let you share.
Oh, nice.
So now I just send this stuff to her and her kids through Amazon sometimes instead of buying the book and then having it come to my house and then
It's
sending it.
crazy. I sent my friend that lives in Canada through Amazon because I know they deliver to his because he lives in the middle of nowhere, but I know they delivered to him and it was still $31 just for shipping. This is stupid.
Yeah, and things just aren't getting easier and books are getting more expensive.
Well, it happened. So I ordered it for him before his birthday and it shipped to him in 2 days. And then it said out for delivery. And then I got a message from the delivery guy, supposedly saying that he wasn't able to deliver it. I was like, well, what happened? Like, I put in there, because he lives in an apartment building. I said, you need to ring the doorbell, ask for blah, blah, blah. And it's this number.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get another message from the seller, the person that I bought it from, saying that it came back to her damaged. I'm like, which one is it? Either they were able to deliver it or it came back damaged. I'm confused.
Yeah, it like That the shipping sometimes can be a whole headache.
Yeah.
Luckily, I don't have too many problems where I'm at.
Yeah, it is a huge plus. And then, like, I get it. I understand that Amazon's a big corporation, but sometimes, like, where I live, the only option is Amazon sometimes.
Yeah. No, like, definitely. Again, a lot of people, I could remind people, a lot of people don't have a local bookstore. Like, a
Right.
lot of people don't have a
I
local
have to
indie.
go
So if
40
I wanna
to
go
my
buy
local
from an
bookstore.
indie,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna cost me more money either way. I have to pay the money to go out of town, or I have
45 minutes
to pay
for
the
me.
shipping costs. Yeah, exactly. I have to pay, like, an hour to go out of town
Yeah.
because the closest indies are, like, an hour away,
The
or I
only
have
indies
to
around me are,
pay
and this
extra
isn't
shipping.
this isn't knocking them at all. It's all like used books. So if I
Yeah,
want a brand new book, I have to go through one of the big box stores or Amazon.
yeah. Yeah, we only have a Barnes& and Noble here, and they never really ever have what I need there.
No. I only
Very
use them like once or twice a year when they have like the pre-order sale. That's the only time.
Yeah, and now that's not even worth it because you're getting 25% off. That's like
And
one.
then they took away the free shipping. I'm like,
Yeah, and then you're
that's
basically paying
stupid.
that back when you pay the shipping, so you're really getting, like, nothing off.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
Yeah, there's a lot of books that are actually more than 30, especially if you're when you start getting into the adult fantasy.
Mhm.
I've seen
Why
40.
I hate to be that person, but I buy most of my stuff in
Yeah.
paperback anymore.
Most of the adult fantasies I see start at $28, and 28 might be for book 1, it might be 32
Yeah.
for book 2, and then depending on if the other wrote books before, popular, if it's in hardcover, it might be 40 bucks.
That's why I just wait for um paperback anymore if I have to buy brand new.
Yeah, if you can get the graphic novels paperback too, even better, because they'd be doing some in hardcover, and they're also expensive. And Libby having 6 library cards
It's great.
is great. My 6 library cards have really been coming through for me.
I'm not gonna lie though, I did buy this from Barnes and Noble because they had this on sale. I've never read it and I've always wanted to read it. For
Which one is it? Anne of Green Gables?
yeah, I've never read it.
I don't think I ever read it. I think I watched the TV show as a kid.
It's part of I made it for one of the
Yeah,
prompts.
adult fantasy is really expensive right now, which is
It's
also why I can't
ridiculous.
just be buying these debuts. Like, I need to
Mhm.
know if it's good because some of the debuts I've read recently, if I would have bought that, I would have been upset that I wasted my money.
I've only got two, and you know the two because they're coming out now on the same day.
Oh, they might actually switch. One might come out on a different day,
Okay,
hopefully earlier.
because I've had that specific one on pre-order since Christmas last year.
Yeah, I don't do I have anything on I don't yeah, I haven't put in my pre-orders yet because I just gotta make my money situation right.
Yeah.
So no, I think I have like 2, maybe like 1 or 2 books on pre-order and they keep getting pushed back. But I have not been pre-ordering too much stuff. I if
Me
I can get it
neither.
from NetGalley first and read it first, I
Yeah.
will.
Yep. The only one that showed up to was this one because I only
Mhm.
pre-order authors that I know are like gonna be hits for me anymore.
Mhm.
Stephen Graham Jones, the one that you recommended, Dead Girls Walking, showed up
Yes.
yesterday. That came yesterday.
I'm waiting for my copy. I was gonna pre-order it and then she's like, "No, I'm going to send you a copy."
Oh, awesome!
But she's a friend of mine, so
Yeah, that's
so,
awesome.
like, I have the art that I have not opened yet, like, I am gonna sit down and read it. I just have not had the chance to. I've been
Yeah,
behind and reading
I,
some other stuff, but
the
I'm
cover is
excited for this
gorgeous
one.
in person. Like I saw the cover and I was like, oh my god.
But she was like, "Oh, I'm getting to the post office eventually to send it to you." I'm like, "It's okay, take your time."
Yeah,
I know
no
how it
rush.
is getting back to the post office because I remember trying to get to the post office in Philly was a whole drama.
Oh, that's a mess and a half. I don't miss that.
Like, because I was trying to see on a Saturday if I could, when I was going down there, if I could drop off some stuff, and then I'm looking, I'm like, why are the post office that are open so damn far?
Liz, I'm not sure where you live, but you can get a virtual library card through the National Library for $10 a year, for $10 for the year.
You can also get some library cards for free from different libraries.
Right.
Harris County, Texas, Broadward.
I got one from the LA County Library.
LA County has them too. I know they like you could buy one from them. I didn't know they have.
Yeah. I used to have one from the Brooklyn.
San Jose.
Yeah. I used to have one from the Brooklyn library card, but they ended that program.
Yeah, say like they changed up their program when they still, I don't know if they still let people even pay for like one from the outside.
I only did it for 1 year and then they stopped the program.
Yeah, I have one for the Free Library of Philadelphia because anybody in PA can get one.
Yeah.
I have one.
I technically used my uncle's address for that.
Yeah. Same for Pittsburgh. Anybody in PA can get one for the Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh. And then I have my local one, which doesn't really serve me on Libby, but it serves me on Hoopla. So that's what I mainly.
That's the weird thing. I get so many more holds on Libby, but my Libby doesn't work well with my county. But then I have so many like great books on my Hoopla account for my county, but I only have 4 holds a month.
Yeah, for my county, I believe that they put more money into Hoopla than they put into Libby because I know like the pricing is different.
I kind of wish it was the other way around.
I have the higher tier for Hoopla with them compared to a lot of people I know who have Hoopla, since we have not only the books, we have the ebooks, the audiobooks, the movies, the TV shows, the music, the comics.
I have everything, but we only have 4 holds a month.
The magazines. So we have all that stuff. Plus we get 15 regular holds and then like a select number of flex holds.
I wish I had that much. I have 15 holds through my library through Libby.
Yeah.
Which is always hit or miss. And then
you just gotta use your uncle's address.
I am.
You can I use my uncle's address. Like one library at a time.
You sent me that one that I've been using like crazy.
Yeah. So like this, like I guess sign up for the Broward County Library, but like San Jose has really been helping me out a lot. Harris County has really been helping me out a lot.
It's great.
And I know somebody who works at the Harris County Library, and she's like, "Yep, keep using it. Just remember to comment and tell them how much you like it. And give them feedback."
That's what I did. I had to do it for my library.
So that they keep getting more money. But that one you can just sign up and quickly get an e-card, and I love it.
I got it like 10 minutes after I signed up. It was like, boom, right in my email. I was like, damn, that was sick.
Yeah, I love those libraries who are spreading the love.
And don't mind it.
Yes. Yeah, that's the thing too. Like they have so many of the books that I wanted, including backlist ones that I could not find.
And they have like even independently published romances.
Yeah.
Like that you wouldn't be able to find in any library system unless you like do KDP or something.
Yeah, because like it's very hard to get indie through the library. That's another thing that Hoopla is good for. In that, how it's explained to me is that if an indie if somebody indie uses Ingram Sparks to publish their book, they automatically upload it to Hoopla.
Because my friend Julie's book is
paid for you borrowing it from Hoopla too.
Yeah.
So some like of my indie author mutuals, their book is also on my Hoopla.
I just found out that you can order books through Ingram Sparks too. Like you can order.
Yeah, you can order them directly.
I was like, okay, because I also with some of the indie books, I have a hard time finding them, so I was gonna check out like Ingram Sparks. You have 20 holds. You're
20 holds. Wow.
I'm so jealous.
That he buys a lot of indie romance. Yeah, when I see the indie stuff on, I get super excited, especially on Hoopla now.
It makes me so happy.
My recommendations are really good, like on Hoopla. They know exactly what type of books that I want to read, and I see titles that I'm interested in on there all the time under recommendations. So I'm like, their recommendations used to be so, but now they really know me.
Libby, not so much, but
yeah.
Hoopla has got. I've got it in the bag with Hoopla.
Yeah, but let's do another 30.
Sounds good.
All right, guys, I will see you in 30. All right. How did everybody do? Let me know how you did in the comments.
Made it to page 497.
Oh, you're
Got a good
working your way through it.
Yeah.
It's like the
Got a good
900 page book, right?
Yeah, 900.
So you're like about halfway,
Yeah.
almost.
Now it's like starting to click. Everything's starting to like make sense.
Oh, that's always good when everything starts to finally make sense in a fantasy, because
Yeah.
some take a while, like for everything to click. Like
That's
I know
why anymore I've noticed that I just want to read them like back to back to back. Like I don't like waiting for like a year if it ends on like a cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's the hard part too, because then you forget like what happens. Like the
Mhm.
nice thing about Warrior and the Wind is that he puts a synopsis like before to tell you everything that happened in book
Authors do
one.
that. I appreciate when authors do that so
Yes,
much.
so he's like, just to refresh your memory, here's everything that happened in book one, and he goes into
Yeah.
this nice synopsis of
Cliff Notes
all the events
version.
that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're not completely lost.
I appreciate that. I wish more authors did that.
Yeah, like that is amazing that he included that because you
Yeah.
don't really see it, but it's so helpful. Like, here is everything that I forgot about.
And then you're waiting on a book that's been 10 plus years in the waiting.
Yeah, so he's gonna do
With
that
R.R.
for
Martin.
book 3 as well. He'll have like the series recap again, and then
Yay!
so I'm like,
I
that's
won't be
also
completely
and
lost.
it's like a very highly detailed one because it's multiple pages, so you
Yay!
get the gist of
'Cause I think
everything,
when
not just like a little synopsis.
when I just got it from the library, I was so lost because I just got the audio. I was so
Mm.
lost.
Yeah, there's a lot of fantasies I don't like to get the audio for, just because you're gonna be lost.
Yeah. I don't
Especially
mind
if it's
reading it with it if it helps me with like pronunciations and stuff. Because some of the
Yeah.
names are like a lot.
I only do the audio if it's a very simplistic one, and even then, like, not always, because
Yeah.
I tried doing the audio when I was struggling with Lore of the Wild, and that wasn't because of the world building, it's just that, like, the audio just highlighted how badly written it was even more, because I
Oh
could hear
no.
every choppy sentence.
Yeah. The cover is gorgeous, and then I saw your review. I was like, oh man,
Yeah. Yeah, if
man.
you're gonna read it, get it from the library, wait that long hold time from the library,
Yeah.
and just get it that way, because it was not good. And then, like, Heather had
Why do
talked
they catch us with all these pretty covers and then the book's not that
well, the author commissioned the cover, and I'm like, she did a beautiful cover.
great? Yeah.
Like, the artist did a
Cover's
great
gorgeous.
job. I would buy the print from the artist, but
Yeah, me too. I want to hang it on my wall.
but the book was just it was just not.
That's so disappointing.
And I wasn't the only one. I was watching Heather today doing her monthly recap, and she talked about the book, and it was like the same stuff. Like, I
Oh, was
sure
she reading it too?
she read it too, and she's like, I had to skim the ending after the last 80%. And I'm like, yeah, that was me too. I was skimming that ending, and I
Oh,
don't like to skim the ending, but I had to
me
skim the
either.
ending. So like, I could not give it higher than a 1 on Goodreads because I'm like, I had to skim the ending at this point. Like, I can't give it high. I can't
That's
even.
a
I can't give
lot.
it higher than that.
Yeah. Was that independently published or was that
No, it
Trad?
was going to be indie, and then Trad picked it up. But I'm wondering like how much work that her Trad publisher actually did, because it's
Or
not
if they
like
just packaged it differently because
yeah, because it's not like they had a long turnaround time. She was already going to publish it at the end of the year, and all they did was push it back by a few months to Trad
yeah,
Pub.
that's
So
not
like,
enough for good full edits.
and I doubt they did like a good full edit. And plus, like, the publishers just start editing like before. Like, a lot of people are only getting 1 round of edits, which is not good enough.
No. That's why there's like assistant edit, like it used to be a ton of assistant editors because like we might catch something before it gets to the
Well, now the assistant editors are doing
editor.
so much too, because they're like
Yeah.
a lot of times reading like the manuscript as it comes in before the editor even like takes a look at
Yep.
the manuscript, and they're screening and they're doing this and
But
that.
it
And then
used to
some
go through
editors
like
are
3
just
rounds of
publishing.
edits and nothing does anymore.
And then like Yeah, like a lot of people are only going through, they're handing in their manuscript and it's only going through one set round of edits.
Yeah.
And then
If
like
I'm
the
catching
editors are,
copywriting mistakes in trad published books, that's a problem.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff too with like the copy editors aren't always
Like
good,
stupid.
like rounds and stuff.
I'm not trashing the authors because it's an easy mistake, but someone else should have caught that before it went to print. It's like one of those things. It's like that's so basic.
Yeah, and the thing
Like,
is, like, when
it's a
you're
big
writing,
mistake,
you
but like
go
someone should have
blind.
caught that.
Yeah, the thing is, when you're the one writing it, you eventually go blind to what's on the
Right.
page.
You.
Like
That's why
after some
they
rounds.
always say to have someone else who knows nothing about it look at it because they'll catch something that you didn't see.
Yeah. So like I knew even with me, I've been working on this book for so long, like I'm going blind to it in some sections. And I was I sent out the first half last month to my CP. She's supposed to send it back to me with her feedback. But I specifically wrote her a note. I'm like, can you tell me if there were any chapters that I started that I didn't finish correctly? Because
Right.
like I've been skipping around the manuscript as well. So like if I'm having trouble working through one chapter, I'll skip to a different one in the doc and then go back.
And
So
it's like a brain thing that your brain sees it how you want it to be written, so you accidentally miss the mistake because your brain sees it how you want it to look.
Yeah, so like there are sections where I'm like, oh, I've been looking at this for so long. Like I combed through it before I gave it to her. But I'm like, if I missed anything, let me know because I was looking at it for so long, going through all the different sections, reading it over and over again, that like I started to go blind.
And then I know a ton of people that write something and then leave it for like a month or 2 months and then come back to it so they can catch the mistakes.
Yeah, and that's what happens too. Like sometimes like I'll be working on one section, I'll leave it alone for a little while, I'll come back to it. I had pieces I started here and there of different sections, so trying to get it to
Like
come
there's
back.
continuity. I've been catching so many like continuity errors. Like I'm like,
yeah, the
wait,
continuity
2
errors
chapters earlier she had red hair, like brown hair. Why does she have red hair?
The continuity errors are a big thing right now, and somebody should be.
I'm sorry, with how expensive books are, no.
Yeah, they don't have enough eyes on them. The editor's working on too many books, so they don't have people properly looking through them. Like there's so many times I read a book and I'm like, I can easily pull apart this twist. Like this is not a good twist. It's not
And it
really.
sounds really bad of me to say, as someone that used to work for copy editors, like I shouldn't be catching this.
Yeah.
If it's a trad pub. I see less because everybody says when it's traditionally published or
when it's indie,
published, that you catch more
people
mistakes.
go so much harder on indie books when it
I
comes
know.
to mistakes and stuff, and I'm like,
Ridiculous.
no, some of these indie books are like they're going through it with
They're better than the trad pub.
Yeah. And people are always like, oh, well, indies, like I remember somebody asked me that one and like about a book. They're like, well, is it a good book? Because, indies hit and miss. I'm like, well, trad pub is hit and miss too.
And I'm sorry, with how much these books are costing. Nope.
Yeah, like with an indie, I might be out like a couple of dollars. Like,
yeah.
Whereas at the trad pub, I'm going to be out like a good bit.
Good between $30 and $45, depending on the book.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's absolutely.
Oh no, that has nothing to do with it. They're just putting in twist for twist's sake is the problem.
Yeah.
It's not that they're like it's because we're reading so many like twists don't surprise us. Like it's that they're just putting in a twist just for the sake of it, and there's no repercussions behind it. Like they'll put in a twist here on like page 100, and then if like on page 200 negate everything that they said before, like it didn't matter.
And it happens when you're writing. I've done it.
To have impact.
Yeah.
For it to be there, like it's not just like for this. Like a lot of people are just putting in stuff for shock value. They're putting in stuff because they saw it in their favorite book, etc.
The other thing that bothers me is authors say they don't.
People will forgive the formula easily.
Yeah.
We partially our favorite books because of like we like a certain formula. Like they're literally just
a lot of
putting
romances
that don't make any sense. And like the thing is, when you put in a twist that doesn't make any sense, then you have to think about how it's going to impact the rest of the text later.
Yeah.
And that's where there's a bit of a problem.
Yep.
Like, I didn't need, especially because a lot of time these twists aren't shocking because they over foreshadow them too.
Yeah. That's
Like,
why with some books, when
very
I'm
heavy.
really shocked, I give it credit. Like I give them credit when
Mhm.
I'm really, really shocked, because that doesn't happen as often as it used to anymore.
Yeah, like, it's hard when you're they're telling you, like, "It's gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen," like, basically beating you over the head with it. And then it doesn't happen till way too late in the book. Like, if you're foreshadowing this one thing that's really not overall not a big deal in, like, the whole context of
Mhm.
the overall book,
Yep.
it like, and you've been telling me it's going to happen since,
Page
chapter
two.
3, it should not happen at the 70% mark of the book.
Yep. Or I can't stand when it's like on the back of the damn book, and you're
Yeah,
like, you're waiting for the thing to happen, and then it happens at
yeah.
80% of the book, and you're just like, what the hell?
I've read a few Harlequins like that too, where, like, like, sometimes they'll advertise based on the trope. They'll be like, a one
One
bed or a
bed.
Snowden or whatever, and then
Yeah.
it doesn't happen till, like, the 80% mark. Like, I have one was Surprise Baby, and it was happened after the 80% mark, and I'm like, I knew going in it was going to have they're gonna have a
Right. He
baby.
kind of
I kept
ruined it
waiting
a
for it
little
to
bit.
drop, I kept waiting for it to drop, and, like, they're building the whole relationship, which is fine. So, like, they're actually having a solid relationship, but then, like, by the time the baby drops, it's like, boom, and the book is almost done, so there's no time to have the impact of, like, the trouble that it's allegedly
Mhm.
gonna cause them.
Yeah. And I also feel like, and this isn't like Harlequin authors' faults. I feel like sometimes they build such great suspense, and they're kind of limited with the page count somewhat. Because then I feel like the second half sometimes is just trying to fit everything in before the 250-page mark, or 272,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
But then, like, their trade published books now that are coming out are too long.
Yeah.
Like, those new ones that they have coming out that are, like, $20 almost
Hmm.
for a book, those are too long,
Oh, the like, and they.
and they're, like, 400 pages. Those are
Oh
too
no. Nope.
the
Nope. Nope.
trade, and they're, like, double the price. They're too long.
I saw a what was it? It was a Amish romance, like one of the Love Inspired,
Mm.
was $17, because they have three different sizes now for the but only for the Love Inspired line. None of the other lines have bigger sizes. I don't
Yeah,
know.
those they're trying I feel like they're trying to move everything to, like, trade paperback, and I'm not here for it because they're moving it to trade paperback just so they can charge you more.
Yeah. I
I kind of
only.
stay away from the Amish romances, though.
Yeah.
There's one publicist from Berkeley who always emails me about them, and I don't know why. I've never read one. I've never
I've
reviewed
never
one.
read one either. I'm gonna read
I've
one this month,
watched a couple
just
of
out of
movies,
curiosity.
and they bored me. Like,
Yeah.
a couple of movies based off of those Amish books, I've watched some of them, and they bored me. So,
Oh,
like,
like the TV movies?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not interested in reading these Amish romances.
Yeah.
And, like, she'll send me publicity emails asking if I want them. Do I look like I cover Amish romance?
And that's the funny thing, like people. I'm not making fun of my neighbor. She's a sweetheart. But it's just so funny. Like, because she knows I like books, she like gives me all her Amish references. I'm like, I appreciate it, but nah.
And they take up so much of a large section at Ollie's. I'm like, "Who is buying
They
these?"
do. They have like a whole aisle. I'm like, why?
And, like, at least we have okay, so at least we have the Amish people at the farmer's market near the one Ollie's near
There's
me, so I'm like,
none
at least, like,
here.
the farmer's market is right around the corner, so I'm like, maybe I guess
Hmm.
sometimes they come through
There's
on
none
farmers
here.
market days, and maybe they might buy the books because 'cause they're, like, $2. But I'm like, who real but then people are like, "Oh, no, they're all over the place." So I'm like, "Who is buying them?"
But I don't. Maybe it's because I live in a more religious area. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not religious personally.
Yeah, maybe like, the hardcore conservatives are buying them.
Yeah. And I have a couple of those around here.
Because I know when I did see, like, the TV movies, they were on Up back when Up was more religious. I feel like Up went through like a period where it wasn't as religious, then it got super religious, then it wasn't as religious, and now it's
I'm
not
so
really religious
confused
again.
by Up.
They don't have a branding anymore on
I
that
feel
channel.
like it's like the lowered down version of, and I don't mean this is a bad thing, but I feel like it's the next tier down from like Hallmark.
Yeah, they don't have an identity because at one point it was like where they put all the religious movies. So then it was like varying types of religion. As long as you were Christian, they had some kind of movie on there for you because then they had like the Christian who went to like the Baptist church, and then they had the movies for the Christians who went to the more conservative church, and then they had these movies in between that had nothing to do with church, and then they started showing all types of then they got super religious and then they started showing all these types of movies that had nothing to do with church at all.
It's so strange.
And now they just kind of have romances on there that are
I used to put on there was a show about horses that my little brothers liked that was on the
yeah Heartland. Heartland is still on there, I think.
Yeah.
I used to watch Heartland on and off.
I don't watch much TV anymore, period.
My mom and sister like really love this one show on Hallmark. I don't even know what it's called, but they like I guess it's like some kind of suspense one, and there's like time travel in it, and they are in love with that show. But the show just had its season finale, so it's not back until 2025.
I'll have to check it out because time travel's kind of.
I think it has Andie MacDowell in it.
Oh, I love her.
But they like consistently would watch that show every Sunday. Like that's their show.
There was an Andie MacDowell show on a couple of years ago, but they canceled it after 2 seasons, and I really liked that one, Cedar Cove or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where she was the judge, but she didn't have a car. She just was on her bike. It kind of gave me the vibe of like Murder, She Wrote, but like the protagonist was a little younger.
Yeah.
But I liked it.
Oh yeah, I know not all conservatives are reading those Amish books. That's why I'm wondering who is reading them.
Because literally it's a whole aisle in the books, like whole aisle.
It's a full it's like they have their section specifically, and it's near the Christian section, but it's
like
not
the Christian adjacent section.
Yeah, it's like the Christian.
Not judging. I'm just I'm just curious how it does so well here.
Yeah, so I know not all of conservatives are reading them, but there has to be some conservatives reading them because there is not enough Amish people everywhere to sustain those books.
I'm just genuinely.
And I live closer to the Amish people because they're like 30 minutes away.
See, like it never bothered. Like at home, there was an Amish market 20 minutes away, so there was a huge community of Mennonites that I lived near.
Yeah.
For a very long time, so it never crossed my mind. But like where I live now, there's none, but there's such maybe because they're more like sweet romances. That's the only thing I can think of. Like they're not spicy at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I said like maybe like because I know like some of like I didn't grow up as uber religious, but like even though we grew up religious, like I learned as an adult there are levels to that. And Catholicism is actually one of the more lenient ones. That's what I found out.
Oh yeah.
I did not realize as an adult that's actually more lenient. And that some people were like, oh yeah, I couldn't do anything as a child. They're like, I couldn't read any kind of like book that wasn't like about God, like didn't have God in some way, shape, or form. That wasn't like perfectly like clean. I remember like one of my mom's friends was Seventh-day Adventist, and she wouldn't let her daughter watch Wizards of Waverly Place because it was like the devil show.
Oh geez.
Which I didn't know that was a thing till like till she said it, but then like I had heard Selena Gomez talking about how like a lot of people in the South said they couldn't watch that show either.
Same thing with
because it was like the devil show.
I know it's not good to talk about it, but like HP. Yeah. I went to school with a ton of kids that weren't able to read it.
Yeah, and I didn't know like like it. What do you read? It's like a wizard family having wacky hijinks. What was devilish about it?
Not saying any of that's bad. I was just I never because my parents let me read whatever I want as long as I came to them and like asked them about it if it was higher reading level than I was reading at. So like to me, it was so strange that like certain people didn't let their kids read whatever they wanted because my parents let me read whatever I want as long as like if I had questions, I went to them for it.
Yeah, well, there was like certain things I wasn't going to pick up. Like I wasn't going to pick up one of the super sexy covered romances when I was with my
The
mom to the
clinchy covers.
library.
I wish
Yeah.
they would go back to them though. Like I feel like speaking of Harlequin, I feel like they're getting away from like the fun clinchy covers. Like that's why I love Harlequin.
Yeah, we definitely could use more clinch covers because some of these covers just really do not showcase like what the book is about.
And then people that are in their early teens will know it's all spicy instead of a cartoon cover.
Yeah. So I wasn't technically like supposed to watch Charmed when I started. Like I snuck in episodes like later in the I started watching. I think it was like season 4. I started watching, and I would sneak episodes for a while, and then I just started watching it openly.
Well, my dad had a crush on Alyssa Milano, so I was allowed to watch it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my dad loved Charmed. Like in the reruns,
Yeah.
he used to sit there and watch the Charmed reruns all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because Charmed is such a great show that you can watch. The nice thing about it is so episodic, you can watch it out of order
But I
and
also
follow
like.
like this.
I feel like you can still watch Charmed. With Buffy, you can't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the nice thing with Charmed. You can sit there and it's not as like they have like mostly like the monster of the episode, so you can watch out of order. Plus, like the overarching storylines, they recap it at the beginning for you, so you're not lost.
Yeah, but it holds up. It's so strange.
Yeah, and it does hold up pretty well.
Buffy and Charmed came out around the same time, and one holds up.
Yeah, Buffy. When I attempted to watch it, it felt very, very dated. Like the 2 episodes I attempted to watch last year, I was just like, this feels very much before my time that it is, because that show was like before my time.
Yeah,
and
because I think Buffy came out in 97 and Charm started in like 98, 99.
Oh yeah, Charm was definitely more mature than Sabrina.
Yeah.
Sabrina was the safe show that you could watch. Because like, and even like when I was watching like Melissa Gilhart, I was watching the podcast episode she did with her mom. They were talking about it. Her mom's like, oh, I wanted her to do like something family friendly and fun, like to stay on brand, because she had just gotten off Nickelodeon. I didn't want her to do anything like overly grown, even though at that point when she started Sabrina, she was like already like about to be 18, if not 18 already.
It was what, Clarissa Knows It All or something was the other show she did?
Yeah, she used to she was on Clarissa Explains It All.
Yeah, that's it.
Which I used to watch that one when I was a kid, and then I moved on to Sabrina.
I always loved her.
Yeah, but her mom like wanted her to do like a nice one that the family could watch, and they're like, so she's like, she even said like ours wasn't like the witchy bad show, it was just like fun, and they just happened to have magic.
With the talking cat.
Yeah, and the talking cat. Yeah, like some of those UPN shows, like when you go to rewatch them, are not that great.
The same with
some of the certain stuff from the WB. I haven't rewatched anything in a while from the WB. I think the last thing I had rewatched.
Felicity.
I think the last thing I rewatched that was on the WB was Summerlin, and that was years. That was years ago since I've rewatched it. I used to love Summerlin.
I really liked what's the one? I tried to watch what's the ghost one? Supernatural, and I just couldn't get into it.
My sister loved Supernatural, like stand it for a while, and then she said by the end it just got so stupid that she eventually had to give it up. And she said they literally started doing episodes based off of like what the fans were saying on Tumblr. So they did a whole episode about
it was like 15 seasons long.
She said like one episode was just all about these fan fiction scenarios that that the fans came up with. The one they found out like it was secretly like a book, like that like their life had a book being written about it or something. Like like one episode they literally jumped the shark. Like she said they just started putting random stuff in episodes, and it was harder and harder to watch as they started putting random stuff. They started doing these fan favorite episodes, which like everything that people were saying on Tumblr made it into an episode.
But I grew up on like X-Files. My parents watched X-Files, so I was like, this is nothing compared to X-Files.
Yeah, this is she what X-Files. 90210. I remember they used to play it all the time on SoapNet. I never get into that. I feel like that was dated like in the 2000s too.
You know
When
what
they
one
were
I love that actually still holds up because it's ridiculous? The original Melrose Place.
Melrose Place is so ridiculous. Yeah, I remember they used to play that
It's
every once
ridiculous.
in a while on
God.
SoapNet. I remember I tried watching the reboot of Melrose Place. That was a mess.
Give me the old
Because
one
like it
all
was
day
just
long.
going really bad and everybody only cared about 4 characters out of this
Yeah.
huge ensemble cast. So then like they just started making shit up in flashbacks for the second half for like to end off the first half of the first season. They like just started making shit up in flashbacks, I remember, so that they could
Yeah.
get the people nobody liked off the show. And
Like
that was
half
like
the
one of
time with some of these reboots, I'm like, can we just all watch the original again? The original was better.
yeah. I'm not gonna get into too many seasons trying to watch and Return the Pilot. It's I have watched Supernatural on and off, like episode during specific episodes because it replays a lot on TV too, and certain episodes are just really easy to watch because it's like Monster of the Week. But I wouldn't say Supernatural is a great show to rewatch, especially like all that crap that came towards the end.
Yeah.
Like, but I like the kids will never know the good TV that we had back in the day.
We had
They don't
great
have
TV
they
back
don't have
then.
good TV like that anymore.
And they don't understand what it means to have to wait to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, well,
Like we had a
now
week to
Disney
wait.
Plus is trying to force you to wait to watch stuff, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, they must be out of their minds raising prices and trying to release one episode at a time.
The only reason I still have it is I paid for the year because it's cheaper.
Yeah, once my year was over, I canceled it only because I didn't start watching it till the second half of the year because, like, it's great for nostalgia purposes. Like, if you want to watch all the old shows and movies, but they weren't having a lot of new stuff on there, and then they only release new stuff like every few months.
And it's usually Star Wars related
Yeah.
or
So like,
MCU.
I just was not getting enough use out of it.
Funny enough, I watch Disney Plus more than anything else, so I might be just getting rid of all my other stuff.
Yeah, I had to get rid of Disney Plus. I have Hulu right now. Haven't really been watching Hulu the past month, so I got to see what's on there to watch. I started The Bear,
So good.
but I feel like The Bear just reminds me of like when I worked in the kitchen, all the cussing and
That
yelling and
thing. I think I just watch it because I love the nostalgia of it. Like there's some curse words in Italian that I haven't heard since I was a little kid that they say in there. I'm like, oh my god.
yeah, it reminds me of when I worked in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
Because I haven't really gotten into it because I'm like I just want to punch everybody.
The Bear is good. I want to start watching that Truman Capote and the Swans because I love Diane Lane and she's in there.
I'm probably gonna do a Lincoln Heights rewatch because I saw it came up on my Hulu the other day, and I haven't rewatched that one in a couple of years.
I want to rewatch something. I've been slowly rewatching The Good Wife or The Good Witch. I don't know why. It's just comforting.
Yeah, there's a couple of things like I'll do a rewatch of on Hulu right now. They don't have anything new I'm interested in though. I
Yeah.
watch like my new stuff.
And
that I
now that Hulu and Disney Plus are merging.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work out.
It's annoying.
Also,
That's
Hulu is very weird because like there's some shows on Hulu that have some series have ads on them and some do not.
Uh-huh. The Bear is one of them. And I'm like, the show's like 22 minutes long. Stop it with these 45-minute ads.
Yeah, but then I've been watching certain shows on there and there are no ads at all. So it's very weird.
It's so weird.
I had Paramount Plus, and then I watched everything I needed to watch from there because I was watching a new Frasier, and then I went to cancel it. Then they offered me like another month they offered me like 3 more months. Then they charged me for a month, and I'm like, what the fuck? You guys said I had this till February when I went to cancel it. And then they ended up giving me more months free. And I took like 2 more months free, and then I just canceled it because I wasn't really watching anything on there. I got what I needed out of it. I watched the new Frasier, and I rewatched Doug. I did like a whole Doug rewatch last October, where I watched, or it was either October or November, where I watched Disney and Nick's Doug back to back.
Patty mayonnaise.
So I think I watched Disney's Doug first, and then I went over and I watched Nick's Doug.
Skeeter's my favorite.
Because I couldn't remember a lot about either show. I used to watch both of them as a kid, but I couldn't remember a lot about either show. Like I remember Doug switching channels.
Mm-hmm. I
remember going to the movie theater to see the Doug movie.
I remember going to the movies, but I don't remember what it's about.
Yeah, there was like the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah. And I had it was Doug and Hey Arnold for me.
Yeah. But like it was because with Doug, you can actually see there definitely was a big difference when they moved over from Nick to Disney.
Absolutely.
It's like how they changed the characters, and they try to explain it away, like, oh, we things have really been changing around here lately, and like they just switched up everything, and it does not have the same feel at all. So it's like watching two different shows, and I did not realize that as a kid, because I watched both of them as a kid because the other Doug used to play on reruns on Nick.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, wow, they really did switch up a lot.
There's so many Greg hasn't watched as a kid that I'm making him watch now.
Yeah, and I think like it was some issue where like Nick didn't want to pick up the rights for the rest of Doug, and he just took it elsewhere.
Yeah, it was so strange.
But it's just like it's like watching two different shows, even though it's the same characters.
Yeah, all I think of is the original theme song, that doo doo doo.
I was rewatching Half and Half until it went off of Netflix. I rewatched it last September. I was just like doing episode after episode because there were a lot of episodes I missed.
Half and Half, I don't remember.
And like when you watch from the beginning of Half and Half to the end, like you realize how much that show changed too, because there was so much stuff about Mona like I did not remember. Like I didn't remember that her grandmother was like old school. Like you. So that was interesting, rewatching and seeing like some of the stuff like about why she was so different and why they treated her so differently. Because I feel like all that stuff went away in the later seasons.
It's just weird watching stuff you watched as a kid as an adult, and you're like, oh my god, that went over my head.
That too. When you get to finally understand the jokes.
You're just like, oh my god. No wonder my parents thought this was funny.
Yeah, but like I was watching Quiet on the Set recently, and then I'm like was thinking about it, and I'm like, you know, I tried rewatching all that as like went back in college because they used to play it like late at night, like in the early.
It was the after hours thing.
Yeah, they had like this one slot on Teen Nick for a while that used to play like the 90s shows. So like I remember I've been an insomniac, especially then I was an insomniac. I used to be up watching TV. So like after like 9 p.m. or something, they would switch over to like 90s Nickelodeon shows. So I would be watching like Salute Your Shorts and Rugrats and stuff.
And then they also did a really late hour where they played the 70s stuff. Like the Facts of Life and stuff.
Yeah, I think like they played Clarissa Explains It All back then too, like for a little bit. But whenever the night was that they had all that on, I could not watch it because like the jokes were so unfunny.
Yeah.
So unfunny.
And then watching the Quiet on Set.
How was I really watching this as a child? Plus, like even watching Quiet on the Set, I'm like, I don't remember half these people. Like there were like a couple of standout kids on that show that really stood out, and that's who I remember.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then there was that one thing where I'm like, that's not how I said the character's name, but okay. That was just like disgusting.
Yeah, it's interesting watching this stuff that you had watched back in the day?
I think I watched a lot of stuff. I forget what was the show with oh my god, my mom will kill me. What was the show with John Travolta where he was the student? It came out when my mom was a kid. I'm trying to remember what it was. I used to play that with like Facts of Life and all those shows. Yep, welcome back, Carter. That was it. Thank you, Liz. I remember watching the show, I just couldn't remember the name.
Yeah, I've only watched like some of them, those really old ones.
We used to watch them at night because they right before that would be the Golden Girls, and my brother and I used to watch the Golden Girls a lot.
Yeah, I can remember my grandmother used to watch the Golden Girls all the time.
Now that's a show that still holds up. Most of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it still like holds up because you're not like worried about like the cell phones and stuff. That's how you know like the writers were doing their job. You're not worried about like the lack of technology in these shows.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when you're noticing like stuff missing that's the problem. And like
Yeah,
just like when they overuse certain like slang for that time period and
the
stuff,
beeper.
like Buffy does that.
Yeah,
On top of like it just being so dark you can't see anything. I'm like, why did they light this so dark?
I don't know. And the
Because like
fashions are
trying
coming
to
back.
watch it on my computer, I cannot see the characters.
And the fashions are coming back. I went to the store the other day. They had jelly shoes. I'm like, oh my god, they were so uncomfortable back then.
I can't.
Why are these
I
back?
can't wear that types of stuff with my feet. So like that's
No,
why.
me either. That's why I'm like, they were uncomfortable back then. No, thank you.
Oh, we've been yapping for a while.
Forever. We always end up doing that. We always have
When
some sort of topic.
yeah, when the music is louder than the dialogue too.
That in general irritates me with Netflix too. I'm like, stop it.
Yeah, that's how I know a show is really low budget too. When the music is louder than
Mm-hmm.
the dialogue, because they didn't have enough money to sync it right.
I have a
Yeah,
sound bar that does the that like focuses on the dialogue so I can hear it.
that's good. And then
I
you
had to
can hear
buy a
it.
special thing so I could hear the dialogue in different shows because I'm like, this is ridiculous.
No, we've been on here chit chatting for a while, so quick
I
time
know it
to
always
wrap
has
up
a phone
here.
flying by.
I think it's time to wrap up here
Mm-hmm.
because I gotta get some dinner.
Me too.
Um,
As I'm munching on something.
but thanks so much to everybody who tuned in and hung out with us.
We'll have to do it again soon because I got a lot done today, which was good.
Yes, I did. I made some progress, so that was great.
Yay!
Yep, last round it was 221 words, though.
Yay! So, what is your total so far?
So my total for today, hold on.
Because I know you did a video when you hit 50K, right?
Yeah, I did. I'm over 60K right now because I had to like
Yay!
erase some stuff and then go back in. I have one chapter I need to delete because it's not making any sense. I'm gonna try and see what I can
Okay.
pull from it and rework.
How long do you want it to be? Like, do you have an idea?
I want it to be like around 90K or
Then you've got a huge portion of it already done. That's
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, like I know I definitely have like a lot more chapters that I need to
Sure.
do to round this out, but I don't feel like it's going to be over 90K.
I'm so excited to read it. I'm not trying to pressure you, but I can't wait to read it when it comes out.
Yeah, when I have a fully cohesive manuscript, like completely finished manuscript, then you can look over it and read it.
I'm so excited.
Because that's when I'll be having other people have eyes on it to tell me.
Yeah, it'll definitely help.
All right. Well, thanks so much, everybody who tuned in and joined us for the day. I hope you got some work done or some reading done or whatever you were trying to do. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.